Hi Janina, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
I'm Mike Bailey from Passionfruit. I'm here at CES, the Brand Innovators event for 2024 with Janina Lundy, the EVP of Hartbeat, EVP of Marketing from Hartbeat. I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Janina Lundy, EVP of Marketing and Brand Strategy at Hartbeat. Hartbeat is a multi-platform entertainment company that was started by Kevin Hart. You may have heard of him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Read his book.
Awesome. We have the mission of keeping the world laughing together, and we operate in 3 different divisions. Our studios division, which develops film, TV, and audio content. Our media and distribution arm, which focuses on distributing our content, licensing our content, and operating our AVOD channels and experiential. And then Pulse, which is our brand-funded content studio.
So it sounds like quite the remit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And you've been in audiences and marketing for quite some time.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about the evolution that you've seen over time as you've moved from the likes of pre-Amazon to Amazon and moving forward to Hartbeat?
Yeah, I'm about 20 years in. I use a good moisturizer, so you can't tell. But I've only been at Hartbeat for about 4 months, and before that, like you said, I was at Amazon on the Prime Video and Amazon Studio side, and I've done some content development on my own. I worked at what was then Viacom, is now Paramount, and we'll see what it is next. But I think one of the big things that's happening is really about representation. So I think that was like a big part of my remit at Amazon, was thinking about audiences and growth opportunities with Black audiences, Latino audiences, diaspora audiences, as we called them at Amazon. So thinking about people sort of like from a global scale.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest growth areas, is sort of that global reach. As all these platforms expand, there's so much opportunity to tell stories and share stories kind of across the world.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it sounds as though Hartbeat is playing quite a key role as part of that growth and evolution. Can you talk to us more about that?
Yeah, global expansion is really important for us as we look at 2024 and beyond. In 23, we partnered with Advertising Week for their first exploration, or for the first foray into Africa. So that was really exciting for us. And then for us personally, we were premiering content in South Africa for the first time. So that was exciting. And also developing some activations that were in Dubai. We have some things coming up in Dubai and Bahrain this year.
Right.
So I think even this tomorrow, oh my gosh, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, and I don't know when this airs, but on January 12th, we have a new major action film with Netflix that's launching with Kevin as the star. But the thing that's really exciting is it's a heist film with a global cast involved, and so there's a cast from all over the world. And I think it's really important as we're developing that content that it's not just a casting choice, but that we really have that global representation and global perspective behind the camera. So as we're making the decisions, it ends up being a lot more authentic, and it resonates with the audiences globally. And I think as we talk about the way things are evolving, coming from Amazon, in order for content to be considered successful, I think it gets harder and harder, because for it to be considered successful, it has to really resonate with audiences on a global scale. And so that's why I think it's really important that you have that representation kind of all around the entire process, from the development to the production to the cast, and then the marketing even.
So is that incorporating different individuals from different markets and different cultures to have input into the content creation process? Like, is that leveraging your own networks of individuals? How does that come together, I suppose, as a process? Yeah,
some of it's just like our staffing, like internally at Hartbeat, like having that representation there. I think the platforms, it's important for them to have that representation and have those different perspectives. I think as we're putting together the teams that are writing and producing the content, we have them as a part of it. I think one of our EPs that works internally at our company is Brazilian, and so she's bringing that perspective. We have people that are from different parts of the U.S. We have people from kind of all over Africa that are giving their input and making sure that everything is truly authentic.
And I suppose it makes sense that you're going after global audiences, and they're all living in different channels, and with so many channels to reach them on nowadays, that can be challenging and I guess a bit of a minefield for you to navigate. So what does that channel strategy look like to reach all of those audiences across different platforms and properties available to Hartbeat?
Yeah, we think about reaching audiences whenever, wherever, and however they want to consume content. So, I was talking a little bit earlier, but if somebody's listening to a podcast, because we're really diversified in that we have the TV, film, audio kind of across the board. So if somebody wants to consume a podcast and they want to consume it, when they're driving to work, then they can listen to it through our partnership with Sirius. If they want to listen to it while they're working out, they can listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or however they want to consume there. If they're more of a visual person and they want to be able to see the people who are talking, then they can consume that content on YouTube. And if they want it just kind of in snackable pieces with kind of the core highlights, then they can get that through TikTok, and we're cutting down that content. So that's kind of our strategy across the board, is really trying to leverage, or really trying to put the customer first, and giving them content the way that they want to consume it. And then also thinking about having sort of a seamless integration of that content across all of the different channels.
And in terms of where the most growth is for Hartbeat specifically, is it in that short form content arena? Is that where?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think there's definitely a lot of growth for us within short form content. We've, explored that quite a bit in the past. We have a series that we do with Old Spice called Cold as Balls, which you may have seen, where Kevin is in an ice bath with athletes, and they're having conversations freezing. But that's short form content, that we have that's done really, really well for us, working together with brands. I think we're exploring more and more what we should be doing in TikTok, and testing out different things. But I also think there's kind of this return to long form content as well. People are, getting excited about going to the movies again. So I think there's room for both. I think, again, it's really about what the customer wants and making sure that we have something for everyone. Particularly, when we're coming from we're coming from the DNA of a global superstar, and everything we do doesn't have Kevin in it at all. And a lot of our expansion is actually outside of Kevin.
Right.
But having that in our DNA sort of fuels a lot of what we do.
Okay, so what does 2024 look like for the Hartbeat organization?
Yeah, we have a lot of really fun projects coming. I'm really excited about the series that we have for Peacock called Fight Night.
Okay.
That's going to be a lot of fun, and we start production for that really soon. We have new episodes, a new season of Heart to Heart, which is the interview show that we have also with Peacock. Like I said, we have Lift, which is one of the biggest action films or films that we've done as a company. So we're super excited about that and all the growth that's coming for that. And then we have just some really fun things happening with brands that we're working with.
Right.
So we're really in a place where we're thinking about brands winning Oscars and Emmys. So that's where we kind of see things going. I don't know if that's going to be a 2024 thing, but that's where we're headed, is really having unique projects with different brands, whether that's short form content or long form content. But we're really about humanizing brands and finding that connection in the content that we develop, infusing laughter and humor into everything that we do. And we think that will help to get brand messages out there.
Right.
So that's a major focus for us in 2024.
Can you give us a couple of examples of the projects in the works with some of those brands?
I'm trying to think what we have in the works that I am allowed to talk about. A lot of things haven't been announced yet.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think that what I can talk about is what I was talking about before, is like some of the things that we were working on in the past.
Sure.
So one of the things that we're thinking about is how to infuse laughter into brands where you wouldn't expect it. So, Cold as Balls with Old Spice, that I think they've used a lot of humor in their advertising for a really long time. So it may not be as unexpected, but I think the way that we do it is unique. But where it's more unique is probably working with a brand like Zyrtec, where we're creating content that's funny and you wouldn't normally think about humor in pharmaceuticals in general or allergies.
Right, yeah.
So that was really fun. We did a project with Venus through P&G that was about women's personal care. It was a campaign around pubic service announcements. And so that was kind of a fun way to do it. And I think it was really exciting to work on that project. for the team before I even got there, but the team worked on that project and it had like an all-female team behind the camera, which was really exciting when we're talking about something that's for women. So that's something that we like to do a lot of. But there's a lot more coming, even more in the long form space. We have a documentary for a brand that I'm really excited about and wish I could talk about. That I think is going to be exciting, and some scripted content as well. So.
Amazing. It sounds as though you're trying to infuse humor into scenarios that perhaps, as you say, aren't typically funny or break some stigmas, perhaps. What else do you look for in terms of partners when you just try and hunt for brands to do work with?
Yeah, I think we work with all different brands, and I think it's really about us understanding the brands and understanding their mission, understanding their audiences, and not trying to force projects to happen.
Okay.
I think we're really looking for, like, authenticity is really key in so much of what we're doing, and I hate using authenticity over and over again, because I think it's just such an overused word, but the fact is, like, that is something that we're really focused on.
Right.
So we're thinking about, we really work with our brands and our platform partners to understand their audiences, to understand their objectives, so that we can really find the right fit in what we're developing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I suppose pivoting towards looking ahead to 2024, you've talked about what Hartbeat is going to be focused on. But with so many channels coming to life and all the evolutions happening with AI, etc., what else do you see happening in the trending world of entertainment for 2024, and perhaps some of the headwinds that you might have?
So I think live streaming is something that will be really interesting.
Right.
Moving into 2024, there's a lot of advances being made, but I think there's something really interesting about people consuming content all together, all around the world, and having the same experience. And I think that it makes the world smaller and brings people together, particularly with all that's kind of going on right now. So I think that's really big. And I think as an entertainment industry, obviously there's been a lot of conversation about AI, and I think as we move forward, it's about thinking about how we can use that to our advantage,
Right.
As opposed to it being something that's scary for us.
There's a few risks as well, right, when you think about AI, because if somebody is able to take content that's been produced by Hartbeat and misrepresent themselves, or use, Kevin's voice in such a way and say something that isn't him, then there's massive privacy risks there as well.
Yeah, that's not a good way.
No. Amazing. And in terms of the tailwinds, what are you excited about moving forward for the next couple of years in this space?
I think some of those things I am excited about. I might need a minute on this one. Let me think. What am I excited about on tailwinds? Some of it's what we talked about already, because it's really like the global stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
So we know that studio is one of the main components of the Hartbeat organization. How do you think about the development of content and, I guess, the strategy and what you're trying to infuse within what you develop?
Yeah. I think our overall mission as a company is to keep the world laughing together, which is a lot of fun and a great mission. Like, as I was thinking about coming to this company, it was something that really excited me. I was like, what could be better than that? And as we think about what a Hartbeat project is and how we function as a company, we think about humor, heart, and heat. So it's really about infusing humor. It doesn't have to be hardcore laughter. It can elicit a smile. But humor is really important in anything that we do, and it's, of course, the DNA of Kevin, so it's the DNA of our company. Heart is about emotional connection, so connecting and like I was saying, about humanizing brands. We want to make sure that we elicit emotion in everything that we do. And then heat is really about the virality. So anything we do is supposed to, get out to a global audience, get people talking about it beyond the time that they're watching or listening to it or experiencing it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for everything you do.
Thank you so
Lovely to chat
much.
with you.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.